Bloomberg did this excellent piece on Canada versus the United States. And for the first time in recent history, Canada is actually richer than the United States. In fact, the average Canadian has about $336,000 for the average household net worth. But for the American household, it's about $319,970.
Now, you seem to have facts, Anna. On the other hand, I have this fact. We're number one! Yeah! What now, Canada? Okay, so I think my fact might trump yours.
This story is fascinating because when you look at the system in Canada, there are a few contradictions, but we'll get into that in a second. I want to give you some more numbers first. The unemployment rate in Canada dropped to, where is the number? I believe it's 7.2%. In the United States, it has remained stagnant at 8.2%. Okay, so Canada's doing much better than us. Of course, the unemployment rate is still pretty high, but they're working on it and they're improving.
On the other hand, we're number one.
Number one.
No, the reason I say that is because when you do stories like this, you'll get knucklehead conservatives who'll be like, listen, man, why don't you go to Canada then? The U.S. is the best. No. Hey, if they're doing something that is giving them better results, perhaps we can learn from it, and then we could be number one again, okay? But that's the difference between being a liberal and being open-minded and considering facts and caring about them, and being someone who's opposed to change and a conservative by nature, who says, yeah, I don't care what the facts are, I'm sticking with what we're doing.
Yeah.
So what is Canada doing to get these results?
So, of course, both, I believe, Republicans and Democrats can use this article in their favor, because one thing that they did that the liberals have been definitely advocating for quite a while now is they regulated the banking system and they did not allow the banks to merge. So, as opposed to the United States where you have banks that are too big to fail, in Canada you don't have those big banks. They didn't allow those banks to merge. However, it's interesting because you have real fiscal conservatism in Canada, because what they did is they did give the corporations tax cuts, and they also cut funding for some social programs. But keep in mind that at the same time, they have, universal health care, and that's one of the most important social services that they did not cut. So there could be arguments made that they did cut some social services that, were, using too much funding and weren't necessary.
So let me get into some of that. So the main thing that Canada does with the banks is very, very tight regulation, far more regulated than the U.S. Now, so the size of the banks is not as relevant in Canada because of the tight regulations. Now, of course, here in the U.S., they say, no, we got to go in the opposite direction. If you deregulate, it gets better. But we did deregulate, and we had a giant crash, right? So our model here has proven to be wrong, and their model has turned out to be much, much better. So now when you look into the measures where you do the spending cuts, et cetera, well, it depends on the context. So first of all, Anna's right that they have socialized medicine. So I'll take that deal. You want to do some spending cuts and you want to do some tax cuts, but you want to give us the government paying for health care so nobody dies because an insurance company denied you because of pre-existing conditions or rescission, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, deal. Conservatives, you want to make the deal? No, you don't want to make the deal, right? Because it works and you don't want that. And then the second part of it is, to me, the problem isn't as much our tax rates. Yes, the tax rates is an issue because if the effective tax rate is incredibly low now because there's loopholes, et cetera, et cetera. It's that what are we spending our taxes on? So can we cut our spending? Of course, for example, we can cut defense spending because it is outrageously high. There's one airplane system right now that costs over $1 trillion. So a couple hundred planes to build the whole thing, over $1 trillion. And some of the planes cut off the oxygen of the pilots pass out and the plane crashes. So is there too much spending in our government? Yes, right? Am I willing to cut some of that spending? Absolutely. But not just in defense, sometimes in social spending as well. But the problem is our system has been captured by crony capitalism so that you can just buy our politicians, thereby leading to deregulating the banks, cutting taxes, creating tax loopholes, giving subsidies to giant companies like oil companies, banks, et cetera, so that our system grows fatter, more inefficient, we have higher deficits, and poorer results. So if you can solve the problem of crony capitalism and our politicians being deeply corrupt because of the system in which they get elected, where whoever gets more donors wins the elections, well, then I jump in it. So then within the context of Canada, I might be in favor of exactly what they did.